Hearing Bhagavatam 5:18-22. Mat prapti jaisa shura shurastaya tapyanta ugram tapa indriye dhiya rite bhavat pada parayanananamam vindanti aham tva dhridaya jita. Mat prapte, to obtain my mercy, Aja, Lord Brahma, Isha, Lord Shiva, Sura, the other demigods, headed by King Indra, Chandra, and Varuna, Asura Adayaha, as well as the demons, Tapyante, undergo, Ugram, severe, Tapaha, austerity, Aindriya Dhiya, whose minds are absorbed in thoughts of superior sense gratification, Rite, unless, Bhavat Pada Parayana, one who is wholly and solely engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. Na, not, mam, me, vindanti, obtain, aham, I, tvat, in you, hridaya, whose hearts, yataha, therefore, ajita, O unconquerable one. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. O Supreme Unconquerable Lord, when they become absorbed in thoughts of material enjoyment, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as well as other demigods and demons, undergo severe penances and austerities to receive my benedictions. But I do not favor anyone, however great he may be, unless he is always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Because I always keep you within my heart, I cannot favor anyone but a devotee. Please repeat. O Supreme Unconquerable Lord, when they become absorbed in thoughts of material enjoyment, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as well as other demigods and demons, undergo severe penances and austerities to receive my benedictions. But I do not favor anyone, however great he may be, unless he is always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Because I always keep you within my heart, I cannot favor anyone but a devotee. Purport. In this verse, the goddess of fortune Lakshmi Devi clearly states that she does not bestow her favor on any materialistic person. Although sometimes a materialist becomes very opulent in the eyes of another materialist. Such opulence is bestowed upon him by the goddess Durga Devi, a material, a material expansion of the goddess of fortune, not by Lakshmi Devi herself. Those who desire material wealth worship Durga Devi with the following mantra: Dhanam Dehi, Rupam Dehi, Rupavati Bharyam Dehi. O worshipable Mother, Durga Devi, please give me wealth, strength, fame, a good wife, and so on. By pleasing Goddess Durga, one can obtain such benefits. But since they are temporary, they result only in Maya Sukha, illusory happiness. As stated by Prahlad Maharaj, Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udbhato Vimhudham. Bhagavatam 7.9.43. Those who work very hard for material benefits are Bimhudas, foolish rascals, because such happiness will not endure. On the other hand, devotees like Prahlad and Dhruva Maharaj achieved extraordinary material opulences. But such opulences were not Maya Sukha. When a devotee acquires unparalleled opulences, they are the direct gifts of the goddess of fortune, who resides in the heart of Narayana. The material opulences a person obtains by offering prayers to the goddess Durga are temporary, as described in Bhagavad Gita 7:23. Antavattu phalam tesham tad bhavati alpamedhasam. Men of meager intelligence desire temporary happiness. We have actually seen that one of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted to enjoy the property of his spiritual master, and the spiritual master, being merciful towards him, gave him the temporary property, but not the power to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. That special mercy of the power to preach is given to a devotee who does not want anything material from his spiritual master, but wants only to serve him. The story of the demon Ravana illustrates this point. Although Ravana tried to abduct the goddess of fortune Sita Devi from the custody of Lord Ramachandra, he could not possibly do so. The Sita Devi he forcibly took with him was not the original Sita Devi, but an expansion of Maya or Durga Devi. As a result, instead of winning the favor of the real goddess of fortune, Ravana and his whole family were vanquished by the power of Durga Devi. Srishti Shriti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Eka Brahma Samhita 5.44. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदा सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे.
So Hare Krishna, thank you very much joining in us for our Bhagavatam program. So this is a very interesting verse. How Lakṣmī is favoring favoring the devotees. So it's actually practically everyone is chasing after wealth. Somehow or other, everyone needs wealth to sustain his life. That's actually the goal of every living entity. So you can see how as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhoga and Aishwarya. Huh? Because he says in a different way in 440. Bhogaishwara Prashaktanam Tayapaharta Setasham Vyavatsatmika Buddhi Samadao na Vidyate. Eh? So in this verse,
Easy, no need. Just 2.42. F4 again. F4 again.
so you see the word Bhoga and Aishwarya. Translation:
in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place.
So here, this Bhoga and Aishwarya is very contaminating. Right? The Lord is saying here that if you are attracted to this, then you will become bewildered. Huh? The same point is also stressed by Narada Muni. I think it's 10.10.8. He's also saying the same point, that when you are can see the Sanskrit.
Jai Shri Ram. Nahi anyo jasato jasyam buddhi bhramsho rajo gunaha Srimadadabhijatayade yatra stridhuyatam ashavaha. Narad Muni said, among all the attractions of material enjoyment, the attraction of riches bewilders one's intelligence more than having beautiful bodily features, taking birth in an aristocratic family, and being learned. When one is uneducated but falsely puffed up by wealth, the result is that one engages his wealth in enjoying wine, women, and gambling.
So you see, this is the intention of what sound is it?
Hare Krishna.
So the byproduct of attaining wealth is to enjoy wine, women, and gambling. See? This is the aspiration of the soul. You know, the soul is interested in this thing because he wants to get this wealth. He's always looking for this. He can go 11, 20, 24, is it? Can I go to translate? No. 11, 21, 24. So by
Simply by material birth, human beings become attached within their minds to personal sense gratification, long duration of life, sense activities, bodily strength, sexual potency, and friends and family. Their minds are thus absorbed in that which defeats their actual self interest.
So this is the what we say, the interest. They want all these things, and to support all these things, you need wealth. See? That's why their whole pursuit, somehow or other, by crook or hook, together, wealth. Because by getting this wealth, then all these programs uh, get maintained. Yes? So wealth is explained in this verse. Wealth, as you say, they are attracted to wine, women, and gambling. Not only that, by trying to acquire wealth, there are 15 bad qualities that come with it. What is that? 15 bad qualities of wealth? Huh? Anyone? You know, you get 15 bad qualities by trying to chase wealth. What is that? Go. You know? Do you know? 11, 23, 18, 19. The whole subject on wealth, and all the verses. I think we covered this so many times. So you can see these are the bad qualities that come with wealth.
Theft, violence, speaking lies, duplicity, lust, anger, perplexity, pride, quarreling, enmity, faithlessness, envy, and the dangers caused by women, gambling, and intoxication are the 15 undesirable qualities that contaminate men because of greed for wealth. Although these qualities are undesirable, men falsely ascribe value to them. One desiring to achieve the real benefit of life should therefore remain aloof from undesirable material wealth.
So this point here. So because they are trying to get sense gratification and they are thinking that this is the main objective, but in the course of trying to pursue this wealth, they are also going to get simultaneously all this bad quality. See? You see how detrimental it is. That's why Krishna says, Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam Taya Partana Setashi. You know. So this is a very important point to note because the whole consciousness of today's context, everyone is just trying to look for wealth. That's all it is. How to get money. I think there's a verse also in the 7:6. Prahlad Maharaj is saying 7:6:10. Prahlad Maharaj is also saying same point. Hmm? So here, Prahlad Maharaj is also saying the same thing.
Money is so dear that one conceives of money as being sweeter than honey. Therefore, who can give up the desire to accumulate money, especially in household life? Thieves, professional servants, soldiers, and merchants try to acquire money even by risking their very dear lives.
See that? They try to get this money by hook or crook, even to the extent of risking their lives. Right? Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Hmm? Next verse, I think.
How can a person who
Not
is
this,
most
not,
affectionate to his
not,
family
not relevant. So you see how wealth, but then Prabhu, you're saying like that, but you devotees are also looking for wealth. Is it not? All of you are sitting here. If your company don't give you money, what will you do? War will start in the house. Yeah, correct? There's going to be a big calamity. Is it not? Yes. So how do you relate this then? One sense is very bad. Huh? On the other hand, you also need it. How do you understand this? In fact, in this verse, great devotees like Brahma and Shiva are also trying to seek the favor of Lakshmi. Correct? So then how to handle this? Because money is very dangerous. Yes? So how do you reconcile?
Anasaktasya vishayam.
How do you reconcile?
Devotee uses for Krishna. When devotee uses for Krishna, then it's fine. Like Racheta Sandal, Krishna
Anasaktasya.
gave himself, and even in 7, 10, 10 also, Prahlad, for Prahlad, Narasimha gave the opulences.
It is not because the devotee want to use it, it is Krishna is in the heart, he decides whether he is going to give you or not. Because Krishna is very concerned about the devotees going back to the spiritual world. So if he gives you and if he is going to contaminate you, then he will not give you. You follow? That's why he said in this verse, 5, 19, 27. I won't want to give him something that will pollute his consciousness. Rather, I'll try to bring him to shelter of my lotus feet where he will get everything fulfilled. You see this point? So there is a big contrast in devotional service in trying to think in a materialistic way. Because a materialist, as an example is given today of Ravana. Ravana, he was a powerful materialist. His whole idea was to take Sita away from Ram. He wanted forcefully take money. But because of that, he was killed. You understand this point? So when you try to steal, technically it is stealing only, right? Belongs to God, Krishna, and you're taking it away and trying to enjoy it, then the consequence is going to be. Therefore, it is said in another place, the wealth, the proper use of wealth, Dhanam Dharmeka Phalam. See?
This is 5.
Oh, this was okay. You read this.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approaches him with such motives, but he does not bestow benedictions upon the devotee that will cause him to demand more. more benedictions again. However, the Lord willingly gives the devotee shelter at his own lotus feet, even though such a person does not aspire for it. And that shelter satisfies all his desires. That is the Supreme Personality's special mercy.
So here you see the Lord is saying, the special mercy means to bring him to the shelter of his lotus feet. Right? And many times I've explained that deities are always like this in South India. They like this. I think you surrender it to my lotus feet, and then I am going to bless you. Right? You see? His hands are like this.
Mahisasur.
Right?
Trishul.
So this is the important point to understand. Proper use of wealth is only for the service of the, you see here, 11, 5, 12. 11, 5, 12. You see here, this is explained.
The only proper fruit.
Dhanam cha dharmeka palam. You see, this word is very easy to understand. Dhanam is what?
Charity.
Cha dharmeka. So dhanam must be used for the fruit for, right? Translation.
The only proper fruit of acquired wealth is religiosity, on the basis of which one can acquire a philosophical understanding of life that eventually matures into direct perception of the absolute truth, and thus liberation from all suffering. Materialistic persons, however, utilize their wealth simply for the advancement of their family situation. When they fail to see that insurmountable death will soon destroy the frail material body.
And there's one verse, two examples is given. Right? One is for engaging wealth in the Lord's service, right? And the other part is using wealth for your own sense gratification. Get it? So when wealth is used for the service of the Lord, can you go up? So when wealth, the proper fruit, the only proper fruit of acquired wealth is religiosity, on the basis of which one can acquire philosophical understanding of life that eventually matures into direct perception of the absolute truth and thus liberation from all suffering. So if you take money and use it, if you take money and use it for the Lord's service, then you become free from the material contamination, and that will lead you to a better understanding of life that eventually matures to direct perception. In other words, you get the Supreme Personality of God. This is the point. So when you use wealth for sense gratification, on the other hand, it's so contaminating. It says here, materialistic person, however, utilize their wealth simply for advancement of their family situation. They fail to see that insurmountable death will soon destroy the frail material body. As excessive sense gratification means what? Abuse of the body. What will happen? The body will fail. Yes. And not only that, if you just take money and enjoy, you're going to get implicated in sinful reaction. Sinful, excessive wealth. What? Wine, women, and what?
Gambling.
So this will create What is that? If you enjoy the senses, where do you go? Where do you go? How do you know? Where is Satan? Excessive sense gratification will lead you to hell. Where is it stated? Bhagavad Gita? Hello? 16th chapter, give you some more clue. You want to tell you the verse also. 16 what? Very easy. 16? Remember, 16, 16. Easy. Hello. In this way you memorize. Right? See here. Go to the Sanskrit. Aneka chitta vibranta. Do you know what the word of vibranta? You get vibrantam. Vibrantam means what? Bewildered. You know? Aneka chitta vibranta mohajal samamritaha. Prashakta kama bhogeshu. Again, this word. Kama bhogeshu. Patanti narake suchao. Very easy to remember this whole verse. Everything is correct. Understand? What is that it says here? Translation. So when you go and get attached to sense gratification, the end result,
Thus, perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell.
see, this is the point. Yeah? Excessive sense gratification leads you to I had to use this example when I was preaching in Mexico. It was because I'm Mexican, how can I speak about demigod Krishna? It's going to be difficult. So I had to explain this point about overly being addicted to sense gratification. You see how, that's why Krishna says in this verse, we again come back, Bhogeshwara Prasaktana. And the end result here is a Kama Bhogeshu, where? Patanti Naraka. See? So you see how everything fits in. You cannot just think that no, money is worship. Everything is depend on money. Money is most important. No money, even the God in your temple also cannot survive. You understand? And people, they will fight even for a coin. They will what? Money will create. You know where that was? You know where that? 11:23. 11:23. What can you find out? Even for a coin, all relationship will be forgotten and there will be bloodbath. You know? You see how money is so polluting. All relationship will cut. 11:23:21. You see that? You see how the Shastra is explaining why you fight, why you do this, why?
For even a small amount of money, these relatives and friends become very agitated and their anger is inflamed. Acting as rivals, they quickly give up all sentiments of goodwill and will reject one at a moment's notice, even to the point of committing murder.
Even to the point of committing murder. You see? You understand? All this because of money. So try to understand that we want to have some safeguard, then the only safeguard is to employ money in Krishna's. That's why also Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita also, where he said that you must give me money.
727. 727.
That he said you must do. He didn't. Krishna said you must give to me. Where? Where he said give it to me? Hello? Hello? Where? He never said, Prabhu. He never said this. Huh? Because why? You had to give to him, no? That's why he never said. Come on. Hello?
39.
9 what? Clue again. 9, 9, 9, 20. Huh? 9, 20. Hello? 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
9:27.
Yat karo si.
Go there. Say, Yat karosi, Yat asnasi. Yat karosi means all that you do. Yat asnasi means all that you eat.
Eat.
And this one, this word, Yat juhosi. Juhosi means what?
Worship.
Go there.
Worship.
You offer. All that you offer, dadasi, you give away. Right? So whatever you go to the translation.
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me.
Mat arpanam. What is the meaning of mat arpanam means?
Offer.
What? Hello? Eh? You have to give to the Lord. Of course, you cannot give everything. This is a condition. Rupa Goswami set the standard. 50% was given to preaching Krishna consciousness. 25% for relatives. And what? 25% for reserve. For your reserve. So this was the standard. But of course, we put this 50% means nobody will come back to the temple here. That's for sure. Who will give? So, okay, never mind. Whatever you can, you do. At least you start, by giving. There was a story actually. One sadhu, he went to one lady, and the lady went to the kitchen and she brought some dust and she gave it to him. Kitchen there, oven there, and he gave it to him. And then this sadhu accepted it. And you know what he said? At least she has started giving. At least she started giving. Although it is dust, but start. So you see how giving is wealth. Very important. So wealth is very polluting. And unless it is employed in the service of the Lord, then yes. But now we are talking about a person who is materialistic inclined and how it's very detrimental. Now let's go to the devotees. Right? So the devotees, they don't have anything. They are surrendered to Krishna. Correct? And for such devotees, Krishna says, for those ananyaya chintayanto mam. Ananyaya chinta means what?
Unflinching.
Completely fixed in the Lord. They are thinking nothing but the Lord day and night. For such person, Krishna says what? What is it? I will provide. Whatever he doesn't have, I give. And whatever he has, he protects. You understand? So that is for devotees who are 10% surrendered to the Lord. Because those who are surrendered to certain portion, he also reward. What? Yeyatan mam prapandante tamstateva bhajami. As you surrender, I reward accordingly. You understand? So the Lord is more concerned about the devotee becoming Krishna conscious. He will not give him something that will pollute his consciousness. In fact, if someone goes to the Lord, the first thing the Lord does is take away his what? Why the Lord does that? You know that verse 1088, what? 1088:8. The first thing he does is what? Take away. Why? I spoke this verse in one class. After that, the lady didn't come back to the class. She got very frightened when we
The
have to
person,
be careful when we speak this verse, especially. You see here,
the personality of God had said, if I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty stricken man abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another.
now here this is very contradictory. First, Lakshmi is saying, I cannot favor anybody but my devotee. Now here the Lord is saying, the first thing I do is take. Looks like some big confusion here. Huh? If you go to the Lord, He will take away all your money. But in the Bhagavad Gita, He says, for my devotee, I give everything. So how you understand all these things? Huh? How? Is it not confusing? Here He says, I will take away. Bhagavad Gita, He says, I will give. Huh? And Lakshmi says, I cannot give to anybody but my devotee. Right? Huh? So how you understand all these conflicting so-called verses? Huh? How you understand? Huh?
Advanced and not advanced devotee.
Not advanced devotee. So here you have to understand that Krishna is very concerned about you becoming his topmost servant. So someone who is not in that stage, he will not want to give him money that he will pollute his consciousness. Yes, he wants to strengthen him. So therefore, he takes away all this attachment, and then he brings, as the next verse says, that he will then go and associate with devotees. And when he associates with devotees and he become a devotee, then the Lord also gave him everything. Because he knows that now he will not misuse. He will not misuse. You know, there are certain class of devotees, they are called Pakata Bhaktas. Pakata Bhakta means someone is coming because he wants some solution to his material problem. The moment he comes here and he gets the result, then he leaves. That's why he's called a Prakata materialistic devotee. So, but Krishna, if he wants to favor someone, that's why he says, if I especially favor someone, then the first thing I will do is take away all his wealth. He got no more anything. Then he surrenders. And he surrenders to my devotee. Then yes, then Krishna will reinstate him, give everything. Just like Prabhupada was explaining that Krishna took everything away. Krishna, everything away. And then Krishna gave him. See, what he did not give. See. So this is the special favor of Krishna. Of course, it's a little bit hard to swallow if he takes everything away. So then, on the other hand, Lakshmi is saying that I cannot favor anybody, but after what's his name went and kicked the lot. Is it Bhrigu? When he went and kicked the lot, then Lakshmi became upset and said, I will not favor anybody, but I will not favor the devotees at all. Do you know that? So here she's saying, I'll favor only devotees. And there she says, I will not give anything to the devotee. Why? How it looks like very contradictory. Right? Why? How you explain this?
She will not give to
Huh?
get sense gratification.
What?
She will not give to get sense gratification, but she will give to use for Krishna.
Bhrigu went and kicked the lot. And ever since he kicked, devotees are all poor. You know that in this chapter only, 1088, why the servants of Lord Shiva are very opulent and why these devotees are living in a very niggardly position. Huh? Do you know that? So the contrast, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? Otherwise we will go there. Huh? This question was raised, no? 1088 what? 2 or 3? Huh?
11.
What?
Question.
Why devotees of Shiva are very opulent and why? He wants to give another class. All right, this is, I think you got to go to 1.
1.
So you see, please remember this. You see, a question was raised. Read that.
King Parikshit said, "Those demigods, demons, and humans who worship Lord Shiva, a strict renunciant, usually enjoy wealth and sense gratification, while the worshippers of the Supreme Lord Hari, the husband of the goddess of fortune, do not."
Yeah. Why? Now you see, we are hearing so many contradictory statements. She say, "I will favor you today, only the devotees." Huh? But here, huh? Devotees are what? Living in a what? Pitiable situation. Right? Lord Shiva is very niggardly, no house, no nothing. But his devotees all got opulent, huh? Material benefits. And the devotees, the Lord is staying in opulent with Lakṣmī, and all his devotees don't know how to stay. Why all these contradictions? Huh? How you explain all these things? How you explain all this? What?
Further he clarified.
Depends in which category devotee you are, is it? So here, the Lord is not going to favor the devotees with a lot of excessive love because this will deter him from his devotion to. So the Lord is very concerned about making sure that the devotee stays as a devotee. Because on the contrary, if he gives all these things, material benefit, so as I already explained, all the bad qualities will develop in the heart. That's why the Brahminical order, I'm talking about treatment, they don't want to touch money. If it comes today $1 million, they will finish it up, and tomorrow again they are back to square one without any. That's how the what is that verse? I mean, what it says about it lives like what? They take only what they use today, and tomorrow they. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what scolded his servant. Why are you keeping stock? Hey, why are you keeping stock? This is not. You should expand. Because when you keep and save, and you always want to save more, do more and more. That's how money makes you think, no? Greed. What is that? Greed. And 3 gates that leads you to hell. What is that? 3 gates?
Lust, anger, greed.
Huh?
Lust, anger, greed.
Where? Where is it stated? Where is it stated? Hello? The 3 gates to hell, where is it stated? Not stated. Huh? Where? 1621. So you see how Krishna is so concerned about safeguarding the devotees. For Krishna, the devotee coming back to him is number 1 priority. I think you quoted one verse, right? The Lord is always eager to bring his devotees back. Where is that?
2.4.83.
2 dot?
4.83. Search BB. BB space. BB space.
BG.
BB. 2483.
2486,
83.
83.
What is it right now?
Where is this? Where are you going?
Yeah.
BB. What is this BB?
Brihad Bhagavatam.
This is not from our what Brihad Bhagavatam.
Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Brihad Bhagavatamrita. That Gopakumar.
Oh, that book. That's why I know at 2483 I never Bhagavatam. Can you read?
For so long, hope had me dancing like a fool, thinking, perhaps, in this lifetime, or this, or this, or this, he will finally turn his face towards me.
Asmin.
Yeah.
When? Huh?
Means in this.
When he will come to me. Actually, this is also there in the two birds sitting on the tree. You know the two birds that are sitting on the tree? One bird is witnessing, and the other bird is enjoying. So the witnessing bird is waiting, the Lord, when he will look at me. That same point. So actually, the Lord is very concerned about bringing the devotee back home, back to garden. So he knows also how dangerous these things are. Whereas Lord Shiva, his name is Asutosh. He is what? Easily pleased. And the consequence, he does not what? Look into that. So he easily awards benediction. But then, when the person who gets benedicted, he goes through a lot of problems. You understand? So there's a difference between Lord Shiva and Krishna. That's why Krishna's position is Suhirda, Sarva Bhutanam, the supreme well-wisher of everybody. Because he is concerned about the well-being of the devotee. And like a kind parent, he knows what is the best for the child. He will not give something that will be detrimental for the child's progress. So that is the Lord, is the kind father. And he knows what will happen, as I already explained, all the pitfalls of wealth. The single most thing that can pollute the consciousness is wealth. Whereas the devotee's position is very unique, that he wants only the love of the Lord. That's why when Dhruva Maharaj was benedicted by Kuvera, you know where's that? Kuvera was asking Dhruva, you want a benediction? Please take. Who's Kuvera? You know who's Kuvera? Who? Tamil demigod. Who's he? Hello?
Treasurer.
No, this is a Chinese demigod. They have the Chinese. All the Tamil, they have the Chinese guy, they think that he's Kuvera. Hello? Kuvera is pitch black. Huh? You know that? He's pitch black. So he is giving benediction to Dhruva Maharaj. And what is Dhruva asking? Huh?
My dear Dhruva Maharaj, son of Maharaj Uttanapad, we have heard that you are constantly engaged in transcendental loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known for his lotus navel. You are therefore worthy to take all benedictions from us. Please therefore ask without hesitation whatever benediction you want from me.
See here, the first point is that we know you are a devotee of the. See how Kuvera is also smart, he's not going to just give you. Because you are a devotee of the Lord, I am therefore giving you a benediction. Please take. Is that? Whatever benediction you want from me. And you know who is Kuvera? Who is Kuvera?
Treasurer.
Treasurer of heavenly planets. Understand? And he says, Durva Maharaj then says, you see what he says?
The great sage Maitreya continued,
Loudly, come on.
My dear Vidura, when thus asked to accept a benediction from Kuvera, the Yaksharaja, king of the Yakshas, Dhruva Maharaj, that most elevated pure devotee, who was an intelligent and thoughtful king, begged that he might have unflinching faith in the remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For thus a person can cross over the ocean of nescience very easily, although it is very difficult for others to cross.
See, this is what he wants. He wants to become a servant of. He wants to have unflinching faith in the remembrance of the Supreme Personality of God. You see, he wants to become a devotee of the Lord. So this all are very important points. It's not that because Kubera is giving you money, yeah, let's take it. For a devotee who is neophyte, he will think that no, I will take it and use it for Krishna. But Krishna is in the heart, he knows. He knows how dangerous this thing can be. You follow? That's why the Lord will not want the gift. But he gives also. Like you see the cases of who? Yudhishthira, Parikshit Maharaj. They were given the whole, they were emperors of the world. Who? Priyavrata. Take. Why in this instance is giving and some instance is not giving? Because he knows the maturity of the devotee. If a devotee is 100% surrendered, then he gives everything. You know that verse. And such thing that he gives cannot be taken, cannot be destroyed by any times. I think it's 326, is it? No, 325. 325, 38, is it? 33, 25, 38.
The Lord continued, My dear mother, devotees who receive such transcendental opulences are never bereft of them. Neither weapons nor the change of time can destroy such opulences. Because the devotees accept me as their friend, their relative, their son, preceptor, benefactor, and supreme deity, they cannot be deprived of their possessions at any time.
See this point here? Whereas the thing that is given by the demigods, they are only what? As Prabhupada explained in the purport, they are what? Temporary. Alpa medasam. Antavattu palam. Alpa, little and temporary. Whereas here, it is permanent. You see that? Cannot be deprived for their possession at any time. You see the difference here? So this devotee, they know that this is it's the belonging to who? To the Lord. And it has to be used in the Lord's service. So such devotees, they're not contaminated. And you can see in their cases, the moment they get a chance, like you see Yudhishthira and the Pandavas, the moment they knew that the Lord has left, and they also they quickly put the little boy, what's his name? Parikshit on the throne, and they started going. They're not attached to it. I think this example is given in the case of Bharat Maharaj. You know this yellow, what is that word? He what? Treated it as what? Stool. And he gave everything up, not even looking at it. He left, right? I think it's in 5 something,
540,
514 last verse or something.
43.
5:14:43. It's quoted many times, this verse. So you see how a devotee is not attached, you see.
While in the prime of life, the great Maharaj Bharat gave up everything because he was so fond of serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Uttama Shloka. He gave up his beautiful wife, nice children, great friends, and an enormous empire. Although these things were very difficult to give up, Maharaj Bharat was so exalted that he gave them up, just as one gives up stool after evacuating. Such was the greatness of his majesty.
So that I was giving a Sunday class and I quoted this verse. Someone got offended. Why you talk about stool, Prabhu? Just see how the brain is. I'm quoting verses here. And he's thinking, why you speak about stool? Yeah. And you see, that is also Shastra. Yeah. Stool is also part of Shastra. Yes. Ah. How the parallel? Because when you pass through, that's it. You don't want to look at it anymore, do you? So that same way analogy, that all these things are considered as garbage. Of course, you know the famous story, right? About Sanatan Goswami keeping the what? Touchstone. Yes. Where he kept it? In the garbage. Right? You know the story, yeah? Hello. So how everything is very much, very important. Such a very valuable stone that can touch anything and make it into gold. He is keeping it in the garbage. Yeah, what's his name? Bharat Maharaj. He gave everything up as, how much renunciation is required. That's why those who are renowned can only approach the Lord. What? Niskinchana. What is that? Always this word comes. Niskinchana. I think Kunti Devi also saying, only those people who are bereft of all this wealth can easily approach you. You understand? It is not that someone who has big bank balance, yes, he can, of course, unless he's 10% devoted to the Lord. So we have to see all these parallels and understand them properly. On one hand, he says this, and one hand says that. It seems to be what? Conflicting and contradictory, but you have to understand the purport of that. On the other hand, also, there's another verse, 8:5:47, I think. 8:5:47. For a devotee, he doesn't have to work. Money will flow.
Karmis are always anxious to accumulate
I'm
wealth.
giving you all contradictory statements today, you go back confused. See here, the Lord first say, I will not give nothing. But here he is saying, giving everything. You don't have to work. Look.
Karmis are always anxious to accumulate wealth for their sense gratification.
Speak loudly, clear, hello.
But that purpose, they must work very hard. Yet, even though they work hard, the results are not satisfying. Indeed, sometimes their work results only in frustration. But devotees who have dedicated their lives to the service of the Lord can achieve substantial results without working very hard. These results exceed the devotees' expectations.
See it again, contradictory. Hello. How does it work now? You don't need to work and you get everything. Yeah? Hello. So how you explain this one now? Huh? Yes? So because the devotee is dedicated, Prabhupada was giving the example that the devotees in the temple, they are eating opulently and they have so many cars and something, and they are not working. And the neighbor is complaining, you guys don't work. but you go everything. Prabhupada is giving this example. So in other words, by serving the Lord, the Lord is what? Providing every necessity without very much hard work. But the non-devotee is from morning to night, he has to struggle. Yes? And the result is also very meager. You understand? So by serving the Lord, you never become a loser. The Lord provides everything. For a devotee who has, he says in that verse, for one who has dedicated his life to me, how can I forsake him? Where's that verse? 9:4:65. For one who has given everything, his life to me, how can I forsake him? Again, another so-called contradiction, right?
Since pure devotees give up their homes, wives, children, relatives, riches, and even their lives simply to serve me, without any desire for material improvement in this life or in the next, how can I give up such devotees at any time?
See? So the Lord is not very unkind. He knows how to take care of the devotee to such a way that he will eventually surrender his whole life and take him home back to Godhead. So that is the Lord's priority. Hey, that's why he's called the supreme well-wisher of the devotee. He doesn't want to make the devotee's life miserable here. No, he wants to help him. That go back to the spiritual world. That's why the devotees who are really advanced, they think, I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing except you. That's why we are trained to pray like that. How are we trained to pray? Give me wealth, give me that. That's not the prayer, the demigod prayer. What is it say? Dhanam Dehi, Rupavati Dehi, everything Dehi. Right? But we are praying, how we are praying? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us how to pray. I don't want wealth. How come? Again, contradiction. You see? So the devotees is interested, their whole consciousness is only how to develop their love for the Lord. They don't want anything else. That's why Guru Maharaj is also saying the same thing. And this verse 11:21, I think is 33 to 34. 11:21:34.
It's two verses, combined verses.
No, this is not the verse.
11:20.
20. 11:20:34. See here, the Lord, the devotee, can you read?
Because my devotees possess saintly behavior and deep intelligence, they completely dedicate themselves to me and do not desire anything besides me. Indeed, even if I offer them liberation from birth and death, they do not accept it.
That even I give them liberation, they don't accept it because they want the association of the Lord. See, this is prayer we are taught, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. Then what do you want? What? Janmaneswari, bhavata bhakti. I only want to be your servant, birth after birth, not even getting liberated. So you see how the devotees are trained to become conscious of the Lord and develop his love. And that is more valuable than all this wealth and opulence and everything. This is just, therefore, the training is like that we should learn how to develop our love for the Lord. Rather than trying to, because why this is very important is because from the young age, we are always taught to go to God and ask for endless things. Is it not? Go, you pray, please get first thing. I think when you're young, the first thing that you get good education. Right? The first thing is what? Good education. Correct? I remember Saraswati Puja, you must bring all your books. To get the what? Blessing of I was wondering why I had to bring my books to the altar. See, the conception. All this is always, God is there, as Prabhupada gives a very good example. Order giver and order supplier. So that is how our whole consciousness has been trained to always go to God and ask for this and that, this and that. But nobody is training us to go to God and say, no, I don't want anything. I only want your devotion. That parallel is not there. Everyone is very contaminated. So you see how to understand this. It's on a very high platform. And that's where you can get what? The attraction of the Lord. Oh, he is my devotee, he doesn't want anything. Oh, okay. This is why purification is very essential. See, what to speak Prabhupada is giving in this example. Here he's saying a devotee wanted so many things from his guru. Correct?
Yeah.
You read that line?
Mm.
So he wanted all the wealth of the guru, and the guru was kind enough to give it to him. See? But going to guru for wealth is not, it is not the criteria. Right? As in another verse, 1899, you see? CC, 1899. That if you go to guru to get all his blessings for wealth, is considered 1899. You go there.
This is the
Go.
Balabhadra
Yeah.
Bhatta.
Yeah. Can you go down to the purport? Yeah. Go down. Go down to the purport, to the last line. Go down to the last line.
This is the knowledge.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Go. All right. Unless can you read that?
Madhya 1899 purport excerpt. Unless one is enlightened by the knowledge given by the spiritual master, he cannot see things as they are, even though he remains constantly with the spiritual master.
See the point here? Unless one gets enlightened by the knowledge of the spiritual master, he cannot see things as they are. So in other words, going to spiritual master means getting this power, this enlightenment. Yes? That's why Prabhupada writes in this purport, but power to preach was not given to him. It was given to another devotee who wanted to serve the spiritual master. They're two different things. You understand this point here? Although he constantly remained with the spiritual master, but he was not given this thing. Of course, if you disobey spiritual master, the first thing you lose is your knowledge. Do you know that? Where? Where? 17. 17256. Adi. The moment you offend the spiritual master, then this is the first thing that happens. What is that? 257. Yeah, here.
When all the students thus resolved, criticizing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, their intelligence was spoiled. Thus, although they were learned scholars, because of this offense, the essence of knowledge was not manifested in them.
See this? So if you offend the spiritual master, the first thing you lose is your knowledge. And all that thing that you learn also is obscure, finish. But on the other hand, if you get the blessing of the spiritual master, the first thing you get is, you know where is that? Where is that? Hello? Where is that?
430.
Hello? 1539.
O Brahmana, Thus, by the Supreme Lord Krishna, I was endowed first with the transcendental knowledge
I was endowed first with transcendental knowledge.
of the Lord as inculcated in the confidential parts of the Vedas, then with the spiritual opulences, and then with his intimate loving service.
See, but the first thing you get is what? Knowledge.
Knowledge.
That is what? Not some mundane knowledge. What knowledge is this?
Transcendental.
Huh? Transcendental knowledge which are hidden in the
Vedas.
confidential part of the.
Vedas.
You understand? That's why many people may read, reading. But to get that confidential knowledge, you need the what? Blessing of the spiritual master. Right? Somebody also said, Prabhu, I'm reading this Gita 5 times, 20 times already, but I don't understand nothing. Why? Why? I'm reading again, but I cannot understand nothing. What? What is that? Because you require what? Yashe deve para bhakti yata deve.
Tatha Guru.
Huh? Yes? You understand? So this requires what? Blessings from the spiritual master. So you see, the devotee, he was interested in the spiritual master's property. The spiritual master gave it to him. But the power to preach was given to someone who was interested in serving the spiritual master. And then I know who is the someone, correct? Huh? Who is that? Who is that someone? Who is the someone? Prabhupada. You understand? And similarly, if you go to Prabhupada, and you I see Prabhupada has so many servants, correct? Yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
How many servants are actively preaching this message? How many? How many servants are preaching? Huh? Hello? How many? So many. Where? Huh? Right? So the power to preach means that you must have knowledge. Without knowledge, how you can preach? Possible. Huh? So therefore, you have to understand that association with spiritual master means to get this knowledge. And the knowledge means that you get his mercy. Yes? And that is highlighted by Prabhupada in this verse. Highlighted by Prabhupada in this. So therefore, better than wealth. It says, better than wealth is what? Knowledge. With knowledge, you can travel all over the world and preach. But with opulence, how much you can go? Of course, you can go and buy properties here and there and here. But that's why knowledge is more essential than two different things. So try to understand why Lakshmi will favor the devotee. Lakshmi will favor the devotee if he is preaching Krishna consciousness. You understand? But if he's not preaching, if he wants to enjoy the wealth, like you can see now, all the properties of Prabhupada are given to so many of these people. They have taken it, yes. And what they're doing? Enjoying the assets of the spiritual master. Where is the preaching dynamism? That is pretty much compromised. And that's it, ringing bell. Prabhupada said what? This belling, he used the word, this belling. Prabhupada is very expert in using his English language. Belling. What is the use of this belling? Yes? So similarly, if we want to get the favor of Lakshmi, then the best thing you can do is to preach Krishna consciousness. And if you don't want to preach Krishna consciousness, yes, you may get, but that is not going to come from Lakshmi, it's going to come from Durga. And that's going to not be permanent. So please try to understand. Become a devotee means to preach Krishna consciousness. And that means mercy of truth. And if you do that, then Krishna will bless you through Lakṣmī, unlimited. Don't have to worry. But if you don't preach, then everything is finished. Everything is. Then the thing comes down to what? Eating, sleeping. As Prabhupada said, this is a choki darshan. What do you call it? Showing the deity to get some money for eating and that's it. Have open temple for that purpose. Right. And in fact, he's right. Better to be a what? Honest street sweeper than a charlatan. Prabhupada right there. I think it's purport of. So try to understand this thing. If you really want to get wealth, and if you are thinking in such direction, then it's not very, very, I would say, proper consciousness. Yes, I think I'm going time. Any questions or any point that you want to add into this? I mean, there are many contradictory statements I have kind of pointed out today, but we have to know why it is spoken, on what context it was spoken. Of course, for people who are new, we always say such a thing to attract them to Krishna consciousness. Because they all think that you go to God, you don't get nothing. Right? Especially those who worship, they know, worship Krishna, he will not give, he will take away. So, Bhagavad Gita, we show verses that Krishna says, I am providing. To encourage. But the full context of it, I have to know. Okay, we have no question.
Krishna is speaking to demigod. 6948. Krishna speaking to demigod. 6948.
Yeah, where's that verse?
6948.
6948.
O best of the intelligent demigods, although it is true that nothing is difficult for one to obtain when I am pleased with him, a pure devotee, whose mind is exclusively fixed upon me, does not ask me for anything but the opportunity to engage in devotional service.
Because the pure devotee knows, when he got Krishna, he doesn't want anything more. He's fully satisfied. That's the difference, you see. But those who don't know, then they think, just like Duryodhana, he got the whole army and he thought that Arjuna is stupid. Yeah? Arjuna is stupid. He laughed at him. Because Krishna asked him, which one you want, me or I will not fight, I'll just stand with you. But he didn't understand, you get Krishna, you get everything. Yes? Where's that verse? You get Krishna, you get everything. Where? Bhagavad Gita, where? That one is a different verse. I think it is more on 15:19. Once you know Krishna, or that knowledge.
You satisfy me, you satisfied everyone.
If you get Krishna, you get everything. Everything means what? Everything, right? You get knowledge, you get wealth, you get... So therefore, anyone who goes to Krishna is never a loser. Never? Suhridam sarva bhutanam. So try to understand this. Ultimately, we have to get Krishna. And once you get Krishna, everything is. But if you don't get Krishna, then life is wasted. Life is okay. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. So much of questions. So much of contradictory verses today. Huh?